all I have, my precious cargo is my child. And
Yeah.
so that is my biggest concern. So that's really how that relationship develops. If my child is okay with that person, then I'm okay with that person. If my child is not okay with that person, then I got to figure out why my child is not okay with that person. We've already blew up the nuclear family. We don't want her to think that divorce is an option. We want her to have a healthy relationship. Get married. It can happen, but we also have to set the tone for her as well.
There is life and love and connection and closeness after divorce when they're kids.
We can be creating little childhood traumas and not even realizing that we're doing it.
Okay, ladies, so today we are going to be talking about another topic that I know people are going to just really relate to because apparently the majority of the U.S. is in these situations. So I am Andrea Wormley. We have Melissa Benson and we have Kelli Moorer. We are her presence. We are so glad that you are always showing up and supporting us. Please make sure to continue to share with your family members, with your friends, with those salons, with those barbershops, all those places. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, download, all those beautiful things there. So today we are going to talk about blended families, blended in-laws. We came up with some cute little things, but blended in-laws, blended steps, blended exes. Bonus love is forever. And I had another little cute one. Blended families. How do I love thee? Let me count their ways. Or maybe I should say, let me count my ways. Their ways. That's so crazy. So 65% of American families report frequent conflicts with ex-spouses, 65%. And then check this out, 30% of blended families report higher risk and financial hardships. And then check this out, half of the blended families in the U.S., the biological parent undermines the authority of the step-parent. And then the majority of the U.S. family it's really not even common to have a two-parent home in the majority of the families in the U.S. Wow. And I know you had some statistics also.
I think it falls right in line with what you just brought out in your statistics because it's true. 40% of Americans are living in a blended family situation. And then when we look at just the core of how you even got to being a blended family, what does that look like? 50% of marriages end in divorce. We do know that the first time that number is really, really high. And then once you've been divorced, that 50%, 60% of us then go and get remarried again, and that creates that whole blended family structure. So it's out there, which goes right in along alignment with what you just talked about with your statistics. So we're out there and we're living in blended family situations. So
yeah.
Wow.
And so
how do we make it work?
How do we make it work? And so we want to kind of talk about that. I think all three of us, even with those statistics, right? So chances are you are probably someone or you know someone. Well, right here we got everybody sitting in front of you is a part of a blended family. Kelli, I know you had some questions. So we're going to start with you today.
We're going to start with me today.
Okay.
So talking about the blended family and the exes. So you and I both unfortunately, we have an ex.
Yes.
Okay.
I have an ex too.
Your ex is a little different than our exes.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, but you do have exes. You had exes. So keeping in mind with the statistics you ladies just put out, how were you able to develop a relationship with the new ex? Because your ex-husband, got remarried.
Yes.
So how were you
Yes.
able to develop a relationship, or were you able to develop a relationship with the new spouse?
So it happens over time. There is no way to, I feel like, jump right into it, because it's just like you developed a relationship with your partner when you were together. It took time to build those layers of relationship, intimacy, all of those things. Trust. It took time. So even with developing a relationship with my ex-husband's spouse, that takes time. And as you get to know each other, as you get to see the impact that they have on your children, that relationship gets deeper.
True.
So time is the best piece of that.
Okay, go ahead. I got a question. I'm gonna wait.
No, go ahead and ask your question, because you're over there grinning. So let
I'm gonna let
me
you
hear it.
answer first, then I'm gonna ask.
What was the question?
I'm wait.
See, when you say,
Exactly.
it makes us say, go ask your
Go for
question.
it.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Answer your question.
I have always been the one that says, so what does that look like? Because you said time. It takes time. But what does that look like? What does that mean, time? Does that mean that it was a rough situation at first? And you know, why time? Why doesn't it happen? I mean, I know the answer to this.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
why doesn't that happen immediately? What's that about? But we can come back to that. That's why I was like, I'll wait.
But what do you think? Why do you think it's not like, why does it take time? Why is it not immediately?
Because we all have assumptions in the beginning.
Yeah,
we had,
absolutely.
Distorted expectations, and jump to certain conclusions, and security issues, and all of that. And I feel like that is the reason why, and things are said in those out of those filters, and that is the reason why it's shaky in the beginning.
And it depends on how that initial relationship ended.
Yeah.
So was that relationship, did it end on mutual grounds? Was it a pleasant departure? All of those factors matter.
Right.
Then you bring in another component.
Right.
Yeah, it can start off a little rocky.
Right. And the trust. The trust, because especially if your daughter or your son, your child is going to go see that their parent, and the girlfriend or boyfriend is there, and you haven't met them yet.
Yeah.
And so you are kind of concerned with how your child is going to respond and how your child's going to be treated.
Yeah.
So trusting who though?
Trusting the new person coming into the family.
Is it the new person you have to trust, or is it the person
both.
you used to
It's
be
both.
with?
I think it's both.
It's both, definitely. Anybody around my children,
Right.
I need to know something about you.
Right.
And I will say this, that when I had to go back up into the dating world, I never introduced someone new that I didn't know if it was going to be a sustainable relationship to my children.
Right.
That was always a private area I kept.
Right.
Because I wanted to be sure, is this individual someone that's going to be around for longevity before I introduce them to my kids?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You said trust, and to trust the ex-person, the ex-spouse. So then there's a shakiness or concern or a loss of trust that they wouldn't know what's best for their child?
So for me, I didn't have that issue with the lack of trusting my ex. We, unfortunately, we still maintained a good relationship even after the divorce. It was not knowing the new girlfriend. And if my daughter is going to be in that space, how was that going to be for her?
Okay.
He chooses, my ex chooses wisely, but if I haven't met that girlfriend, I'm not sure if that's a safe space for my child at that time.
So what about you? Had that question? We're gonna do your very first question about connecting with the ex's significant other or spouse.
Are we talking about the jealousy part?
No, what was your very first question about?
The biggest mistake?
No, what was the very first question? Listen, we ain't forgot because we done went somewhere else.
We done got deep already.
How do you connect, or how did you forge a good relationship with the exes, with your ex-spouse, wife, or significant other? And she was saying time.
Time, yeah, we got stuck
Yeah,
on
that was
time.
the question.
What about you? Time too?
Yeah, it was no, it was time. It was time, and my thing was the communication as well. But more so time. I don't like drama. I don't like drama. So I don't like drama. But I want to be respectful. And give that person an opportunity to show themselves, to prove themselves. Again, all I have, my precious cargo is my child. And so that is my biggest concern. So that's really how that relationship develops. If my child is okay with that person, then I'm okay with that person. If my child is not okay with that person, then I got to figure out why my child is not okay with that person. And then figure that out and then have that conversation with the individual. But for the most part, it's been good relationships. It's only been 2. He's only had 2 since our divorce. And with those 2 ladies, it's been a really good experience. A little tough at first with one, but we've found mutual understanding and mutual grounds that we can move on and be very respectful to one another.
Yeah. Wow. So when you said you 2 had exes, and I said, well, I have an ex too.
So let me hear it.
I mean, I wasn't married before. My husband now is my only one. However, he has an ex, and she's my ex too. She's, and I don't even want to say ex. She's my family.
Right.
Also, so that's I wanted to be included. That's
Okay.
all.
Definitely.
But I'm going to throw this back. You said, she is my family. Did it start, or did you need some time? Was time a factor?
There were some, yes, it was.
All right.
There
So
was some
time is a
assumptions
factor.
that everyone involved, came into this blend. We came in together, not even one of which being that we didn't have to blend. The assumption is, you out there and we in here. So this is our circle and you stay out there.
Yeah.
And that was something that I personally had to unlearn. There was quite a few that I had to reassess and give myself permission to be okay with.
Yeah.
And give myself permission to love, But I hear what you're saying. Being on the other side, and when my bonus babies would come over, and the concern that mom had, just, I'm assuming you're calling because of this, that, and the other, and you're trying to control this, that, and the other, when honestly, she probably was just trying to make sure this is a safe place for my child.
Right.
Right. I have a bonus baby that did not have a actual relationship with my husband until he was an adult, because mom felt that way. Like, I don't know these people, and you know, and then we weren't in the same town either.
Right.
So
Yeah.
because he was military, so I don't know if but it hurt his son in a way of he didn't have his father until he was an adult. You know, he didn't get to have that. So that's an unfortunate thing. And then you said something about I don't like conflict. You don't like conflict. I think that plays a part in it also, because I don't like conflict, but I don't mind.
That right there.
Like, I don't run to the conflict,
Right.
but I'm here for it. I'm game. What we gonna talk about? You know. And I think that's how I am now. I think before I was, it was easier before for me to run to it. And not that I wanted to have it, but if I felt like there was a problem, I would run to it, and as opposed to just waiting it out to see what was going to happen. And I think that was something that I had to learn to relax on also. So if I jumped to a conclusion, if I had an assumption, then I was ready to talk about it right now. I don't want to wait. Let's
Right.
so let's talk about it. And when people are emotional in the beginning on all sides, that wasn't a good combination.
Right. And there's gonna be
because I don't know
conflict.
how I feel right now. Like, the other person maybe, I don't know how I feel. There's so many layers of uncertainty and this kind of stuff. And then here you are plugging in stuff and inserting and all this kind of stuff, where that just did not, you know. However, I do have to say there was communication. It just was probably not the right. There's a time and a place for everything. You know, there's a season for everything. So the blessing is that we are now in a place where we are really, in my opinion, I see my bonus babies, moms, as family. You know, I'm gonna say one more thing. To the point where, listen, I was on social media about a year ago, and there was somebody on that was coming after one of my bonus baby's moms. She had some stuff to say.
Oh no.
And I was hot. I was like, oh no, you did.
That's family.
And
That's
I was
family.
thinking like, wait. I said, no, this is, hey, you don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely see them as, you know, family. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, anything that you guys had to relearn as the time, you said it took time. So anything that you, like, when you look back, that you would have done differently now that you know things?
I think there's a lot that when you're placed in that situation, man, there's a million things I think I wish I would have done different. The children were always our priority. Number one, we wanted to make sure that they were safe, happy, and whole. But I think we also need to give grace to ourselves as you're departing relationships and starting new relationships, that you're not going to get it right. You're just not going to get it right. But as long as you have that communication and you're able to talk through those things. So one thing that I wish we would have done better is coming together, because now this is our village. This is our new norm. Let's sit down. Let's be adults about it. Let's talk about how often you're going to have the kids, when I'm going to have the kids, what are the expectations, the kids going into your home, what can they expect on our side, and that we, because sometimes you don't always fight fair, and kids get caught in the middle. So just if you could redo that, if I could go back and redo that, I would. I definitely would. And I think my ex would agree. I think my husband's ex would agree that it is really about that communication and just everybody putting the emotions on the shelf, and let's be adults here and have some good conversations surrounding what's in the best interest of the children.
Putting the emotions on the shelf is not an easy thing either. I know you just said it, but I know you would agree. It's not
Yeah.
an easy thing. And sometimes it may take a buffer. Sometimes it may take therapy. Sometimes it may take someone who is independent of the situation to help point out, okay, but that part is an emotional thing. So that
Right.
needs to be set aside. The fact is this, what I hear you saying is this, because in the talk, there may be things where you feel like, that's not true. And now you're going off on a tangent, and we now are not focused on the thing that we came here for, right?
Yeah, yeah. And when I say put emotions on the shelf, I mean don't be driven by your emotions. I can tell you the number of times that I've made it, and not just even dealing with blended families, but when you are emotional, when you are tired, when you are hungry, angry, no, you do
Sleep
not,
deprived.
yes, you don't make good decisions.
Stressed
Right.
It's
out.
not the true you. Your true, you come out of character. So that's what I mean. Don't be driven by those emotions. And if you find yourself, you're in an angry space or you're in this space that is not healthy, that's not the time to have the conversation.
Yeah.
So that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Put the emotions on the shelf. Don't be
Yes.
driven by
By
your
that.
emotions.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So my situation, neither one of us have remarried. And so looking back or thinking back about the time when we got divorced, going through it and then got divorced, and the things that I have learned or have learned looking back at it is exactly what you just said, picking the battles,
Yes.
and forgiving. It took a minute for both of us to forgive one another because there were hurts, excuse me, which of course over time led, to unfortunately the divorce. But it took us a minute to remember who the main focus was, and it was our daughter. That's the main focus. So let's start there. And then let's go backwards. Now, how are we going to be able to communicate? How are we going to be able to forgive? How are we going to be able to work this thing out? Because now we're in a new position in our lives that we are still going to be in each other's lives for the next 18 plus years.
Right. Right.
And so there's no way that we can operate the way we're operating right now. So let's work on forgiving, however long that takes. We just had a session on forgiveness. Let's
Right.
work on forgiving.
Right.
But if you can't say anything nice, especially in front of that child,
Right.
we gonna hold that back.
Yes,
And
yes,
I'm gonna give you her
yes.
little book bag while y'all exit the house. Now once you bring her back, we can have that discussion over the phone. But the thing that we always said is we're not going to have. There's going to be disagreements, but it's what's coming out of our mouth
Yeah.
in
yeah.
front of her.
Yeah.
And we've already blew up the nuclear family. We don't want her to think that divorce is an option. We want her to have a healthy relationship. Get married. It can happen, but we also have to set the tone for her as well.
Yeah.
So it took some time, but I'm glad we're still very close to this day. Our families are still close to this day, and so I'm glad that we finally got it together, matured up, and I think for the most part, my daughter does appreciate that we still stay together as a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you
It just
don't.
looks a little different, but we still
Right,
are a
yeah.
family.
Right.
You
So
are.
family.
You're a family.
Right.
That's really good. Co-parenting
Yeah.
is there is life and love and connection and closeness after divorce when they're kids, and there is positive co-parenting
Yes.
for the kids and for you. And I've seen it in your relationship that you were talking, because I know when I first met you and then I met him, I was like,
Everybody says that.
You say
Are you
y'all
sure?
divorced?
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah.
Thumbs up to y'all, right? Because it's good. I mean, you guys are really good role models, and and people are. You have a lot of that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the option is shouldn't. There is an option to have positive co-parenting.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess you
And
just have to.
excuse me, I'm sorry. And one thing that people forget, because we also had some friends, unfortunately, neighbors that ended in divorce, but they were just at each other. And the one thing that Eddie and I did, reflect on is that at one time we loved each other. We're not saying that we didn't love each other. It changed over time. But at one time we loved each other.
Yeah.
So, now that we're at the place where we're divorcing, I don't hate you.
Right.
And that's the main focus that we also had to look at as well, is that it's a different time in our lives, but I loved you. So I can't now undo that.
That's right.
And it just tears up our friendship that hopefully will be even stronger. But then again, the family structure, because
Yeah.
your child is going to see that and they're going to feel that.
And they feel it. And that's why I say it's a village. It truly,
It
the
is.
dynamics have changed, and the love is a different type of love.
Right.
Now it's more so a caring, supportive.
Right.
Because now we're a
I got you.
village for
Yeah.
our kids. We want them at the end of the day. We want our kids to be happy and whole.
Yes.
And productive citizens.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what the aim is, and that's the goal at the end of the day.
Right.
And if you can develop that, and just as you guys are saying, my friends would always say to us, like, man, guys, we're so proud of y'all that y'all were able to do that. Because on the opposite, you do see where it is the child becomes
The pawn.
the sounding board where they are hearing everything negative about that particular parent.
Right.
And they're getting filled with all of this negativity, and they become a collection of negativity, which then now they project it in other areas of their lives. And that's not what you want.
Or they get upset with you because you are bad mouthing, you
Yes.
don't love my, your my mom or my dad.
Yeah.
And that has another negative connotation as well.
Yes.
So I made sure I was very careful in choosing my words, because I did not want her to feel that her father was less than.
Right.
Because he's
And
not.
watching the age when you separate. That is a huge, and what they need to be exposed to initially,
Right.
and not exposed
Exactly.
to.
Exactly.
Because they are still in there. If they're smaller, they're in their formative years, and this is how they're going to relate to the rest of the world and other relationships. So
I like that.
all of that matters. We can be creating little childhood traumas and not even realizing that we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So blended families, we've talked about exes, right? And so I want to talk about in-laws, but so there is an in-law relationship that I have in my family that involves a step also. So my mom, she passed in 1992, and then within the next couple of years, my dad got remarried to my girl. And in the beginning, it was rocky, as we said. We talked about that. It was rocky coming in, and sometimes she would say things like, "I felt like an outsider." I felt like I was coming into a space that. Where I wasn't welcomed and all that kind of stuff, right? And just saying that now, it breaks my heart because of the time now that there's this type of love that I have for her, right?
Yes.
But there was, and so I'm gonna come with the in-law in just a second part. Oh, sorry. there was an event, a life event that happened in our life, in our family, that brought her closer. And that was the birth of my daughter. And so all this time she was feeling like she was an outsider, my stepmom. And then when I called her, so Kaya was about to be born, and I was asking my parents, were they coming? And my dad said, I'll be there, but Linda's not coming. And I was like, what? And so I called Linda and I said, how you not gonna come to your granddaughter's birth? That's all she needed. Like that was the whole
The acceptance.
Yeah.
Wow.
no, this is your granddaughter, and she knew that I meant that, right?
Yeah.
And so she's been Nana ever since, right? So I mean, even
wow.
when things have happened, I shared in another episode about losing twins. Even when that happened, she was the first one that was there. She was like, "Where's Kaya?" And my husband was deployed. She drove from Little Rock all the way to Atlanta and was there with me until I didn't need her anymore, until everything was set, doing for me. That I think life events, if you hold out and you are committed to making this work, even if it's rocky, there is going to be a life event that causes you to become closer, right? So the in-law part is, man, my husband and her has this relationship that's closer than our relationship. And I don't know how I feel about that. And then my dad, sometimes he'll call and or I'll find out later him and my husband has talked. Excuse me, you didn't call me. How you gonna call Randy? But it's such a beautiful relationship. My dad and my husband has had a very beautiful relationship from the beginning. From the beginning. So in-laws. Tell me about your experiences with in-laws. Because I know everybody has different experiences.
Are we talking? Let me clarify. Ex-in-laws or current in-laws? What are we talking about?
All of them are blended.
Okay.
All of them are family. I just want to say that. So pick one.
Okay, here we go. Well, so when you're, I'll go with my ex-in-laws first. When you love, you just love. Wonderful, wonderful people have accepted me from day one. Highly disappointed that relationship did not last because they've probably been married 40, 50 years. So that was the expectation that we would have that same type of harmonious, long-standing relationship. What I love about them is they still, to this day, I am still accepted, loved, and appreciated for the time that was. And I mean, my children don't know any different with my current in-laws. I think they've been married almost 45, 50 years as well. So having that set as the structure, as you're going into a family unit where marriage and longevity is the standard, it makes a difference. It truly makes a difference. And even when when I'm out there dating and looking, whether it be the first time or the second time, that's what I was looking for. I wanted to see that in their family, that relationships lasted a long time. Because in my home, my mother and father did not stay together. So I certainly didn't want that for my children, and certainly didn't want that for my own relationship. But I love the fact that I've been accepted and loved and welcomed into two separate families who have that longevity of marriage and the covenant of marriage. So that's definitely been a blessing for me, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. And I've been very fortunate. I'm sitting here as you're talking. on my fingers counting how long I've been divorced. It's been a long time. I'm not even going to say how many years, but still to this day, we're family.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my mom, Mama Lukey. You know, that's my family, and so even though my daughter's 26 years old, you know, I can still call. I was sharing with you the other day that I'm getting a daily spiritual, you know, Bible verses, and you know, if you're going through, you know, it's just she keeps me still focused. I do enjoy when she comes up from Pennsylvania to Texas in the summer times, and we get to spend some time together. So it's you know, it's like that is my third mom. I say my third mom because I'm adopted, and so she is my third mom, and yeah, I think even what brought us closer, even as a family unit. So not just me, it's even my side of the family is we lost my mom in 2022, a day before my mom and dad's anniversary, 54th anniversary, and 6 days later, my brother-in-law was murdered.
Wow.
In the same week. And my brother-in-law, when I met him, he was 5 years old. And so the memories, the memories of time spent. And I'm just so grateful that I had them in my life and have had him in my life as well. So, you know, even through divorce, you know, you don't give up your in-laws.
No.
You know, because it's not even the in-laws anymore. It's just family. It's just family. You know, I don't look at them as in-laws. I look at them as family.
Yeah.
So their pain is my pain. Their joy is my joy.
Period. I love that. I love the silver lining is it's family. Period. No matter what life throws at you and all that. As y'all were talking, I was thinking about all of my in-laws. My sister Sheena, my brother's wife.
Sheena.
Hey,
my
girl.
My birthday twin.
You know, I get excited when we're gonna meet up. You know, and we don't do that often because we're busy. She's in the military. Thank you for your service, girl.
Thank you.
She's in the military, and I'm busy. You know, but when we do get to meet, I get so excited. Like, ooh, what are we gonna talk about? And just all the things. And it's always filled with because you know you got to catch up. And holidays when everybody comes over. You know, my brother, her, my niece, my dad, Linda, just everybody. When everybody comes, my my husband's sister Regina and her daughter and her all of them when they all come and we just stay in one house, you know, and it's just filled. You know, I've had 20 some odd people at the house.
She has because I've been there. And it was fun.
Yeah, just get excited about family.
Yeah, exactly.
And just being able to hang and just, and every time we do that, you're closer. Those are the life events that bring you closer and closer. And I say the invite is what's important also. Can you come? You know, and even if you can't come, just know that I did want you there. Or when we're invited, we did want you there. And the olive branch. And so I feel like that's something that we should talk about too. Like, how do you make sure that someone feels like if you know that it's rocky, you know that there's a thing happening, how do you make sure, or how do you bring together something where there's a situation where you know that there's a gulf there?
Yeah. So it again, I'm going to say the time thing too, because you have to have the healing from that previous situation. And then being able to come together and talk about how are we moving forward? Here are the things. And that kind of goes with setting boundaries. It goes with, so I believe the olive branch is a part of setting boundaries and expectations. because that ensures that we all are in agreement, and then we're not going in with false pretenses, assumptions, and things like that. We're setting a clear course of action on how we want to proceed. And why are we doing this? Because at the end of the day, it's bigger than us.
Right.
It's bigger than us. So I think that is the first step, is really being able to, all right, here's where we are. Now let's talk about what we're bringing together. This is our new village, and how are we going to make it work? So communication, I think, is key. But I still throw that little time in there as well.
Like, give me a minute now.
Ask me your question again.
Olive branch. What do you do to bring another person or group or whatever together when there is an obvious gulf between you?
Okay. Well, as we've already mentioned, is that my ex, Eddie, and I still maintain a healthy friendship. Mm-hmm. And so to some people that may not be the norm, which we've already talked about that one. And so for us, when there's been two beautiful ladies, one is my bonus baby's mom, and then the other is his current relationship, which I really like Rachel. But however, that's not a norm. So they're entering into a relationship, and his ex-spouse, we're still close friends. And that can make them feel uncomfortable, okay? Which is never what my goal is, for them to feel uncomfortable. Understand, help me to help you work through this process, because I'm going to be calling for, whatever reasons that we have for the child. But the last situation that we had that I actually love, because it grew the relationship stronger with my bonus baby's mom. And that was when she sent her daughter to spend time with her father for the summer. And this was the first time. Mm-hmm. And I recall when I had to do the same thing, and actually my daughter was going to their household. And so she was nervous about that. Well, what if, or what if? And I just said, hey, I'm here. I'm here. She is more than welcome to come stay with me as well. And we can go do some things. I can be over there as well. And if she needs anything, if she's feeling a little homesick, I'm home as well. So just know, and if you want to call me, girl, call me, because I know what that feels like. And that was actually the start of our relationship that took 7 years to grow.
Yes.
And because I didn't have a bonus baby at that time. But when she knew that I was there for her precious cargo, and that while you're in Florida, we got you covered here in Texas, don't worry. And so, now that's been an easier flow for her. But I also had to share with her, girl, you got the summer to yourself. Quit playing around and go and enjoy.
Yes.
Mother to mother,
Yes.
this is your time to actually lay back, sleep in, do what you need to do. But I'm just blessed that we were able to come to, a great understanding is that of support.
And I love what you said, because to me, when I keep saying the word time, I think I could break it down into like an acronym almost.
Yeah.
The T is trust.
Right.
We are establishing trust.
Yes.
And then I feel like you're increasing your relationship with the other individual,
Yes.
which creates momentum.
And common ground.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm listening now
Yes.
more. Now I'm starting to understand, and now I'm seeing that there are so many things that bring us together than actually keeps us apart.
Yes.
And so now I may need to kind of sit back a little bit and say, oh, this person's not as bad as I thought they were.
Yes.
Or we have common ground in many different areas.
And then,
maybe this could be my friend,
Exactly.
whatever it is. So yeah.
And then the final, the E is, it evolves.
It evolves.
So to me, that's what I mean when I was talking about putting stuff on the shelf, or when I talk about the time. There is the phases and the layers in it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not everything needs to be a battle.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Or a battle that is
Of wills.
Yeah.
you know, I think that it is a battle, but I think it's how you conduct yourself
Yes.
in that battle.
Is it a battle?
I feel like it is. I think it's because you're either battling within yourself to, you know, what do I say? I don't know if I like this or I do like this or what's going on? You know, all that kind of stuff. I feel like the there's always a person that's in the middle. For me, it was my it's my husband or was my husband, and I know that he was battling within himself also. You know, what do I say? When do I step in or when do I'm quiet?
True.
You know, and nobody has really. I mean, unless you go to therapy, you really don't know how to navigate that. And I feel like with that being said, that also in the family, people have to be forgiving.
Absolutely.
And be in a position of knowing that you're not the only one that's going through. Everybody in this situation
Everybody. Yeah.
is going through, even down to the kids if they're involved.
Yes.
And to be able to forgive people who acted out of too quick, out of emotions and that kind of thing, and put yourself and you know, empathize and if you put yourself in the other person's shoes, how would you, you know, react?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, wow. I mean, we hit some more. There are other blended types of families that maybe we didn't get a chance to hit. We were gonna go on and wind up. Any call to actions that you guys have for people who maybe are in a situation and it's like, man, how are you know? You mentioned sitting down and having a conversation and talking this thing out. And that's good when you can do that.
Yeah, I said we
When
have to be real.
right.
Not everybody is in the space to be
Right.
able to
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
to even have the mind to do that
Right.
or be, you know, willing to do
Right.
that. I would say that we didn't necessarily do that. But the thing that you kept saying is the time situation. If you don't do it intentionally, but you're still holding on through time,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's gonna handle itself anyway. But I would say one call to action would be to evaluate your relationships or your relationship with the people in your family, both in your blended family, period. And is there a circle where people are inside? And then why is that? Why are there people on the inside and people on the outside? Evaluate that. Compare and contrast. And is there an olive branch? Is there an invite? Is there a conversation that needs to be had? Because if anyone that is on the outside of that circle is going to be with you forever, then why would you continue to walk in a place where there is an obvious battle, right? That needs to be tackled or addressed. And do you love whoever's connecting you to those people that are on the outside? Do you love that person more than the struggle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Than the hate or than the attitudes? Do you love that person more that is connecting you to those people to do that? And I think that's a good call to action. Anyone else?
So my call to action would be several things. First of all, understanding that when you dissolve a relationship, whether it be a partnership, you were together for 10, 15 years, you were married 10, 15 years, you were living together 10, 15 years, whatever it was, 2 years. First of all, dealing with that loss, because it is a loss and you're going to grieve that process. So until you fully grieve that process, it's going to take you time to get to the next steps. I would say call to action is keeping the priorities clear. What is the number one thing that's most important in this? If there are children in the relationship, keep them as a priority. And remember, what you do, what you say impacts them long after you've moved on to another relationship. And then lastly, find others in your community, in your family, in your friend network who you see that have done it well. And glean from them, learn from them. I'm in this situation. I'm still hurting. I'm still dealing with this. Help me navigate. And don't be afraid. Lastly, don't be afraid if you need to get counseling or support, get it. Get it. Your local church, those licensed professionals, get it, because you want to be whole at the end of all of this.
Melissa, you done took 3 of mine. Oh, man. So I'm sitting here trying to come up with some stuff. Oh, no. Oh, so the call to action, I would say, is give yourself time to heal.
Yes.
Heal. Give yourself time to heal. I know oftentimes we go into another relationship a little bit too quickly before we've had the time to heal and to process and to learn.
Yes.
You know, my big thing is lessons learned, you know, and in part of healing, seek counseling.
Yes.
It's okay.
is.
It's a private matter. Nobody needs to know. But the goal is to heal yourself. So when you get into another relationship, you have the muscle memory to know what to do, what not to do, and to learn from it as well. I would say another call to action would be a model for your children. Even when going through a divorce, because their minds are a sponge.
Yes.
And they're picking up and learning, and the things that we don't want them to model, they're going to think it's okay and it's acceptable, and that's the appropriate behavior.
Yeah.
So be careful. Be careful what you say, and be mindful who's in the room.
Wow. Well, beautiful.
Oh, I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
When you just made me think about modeling for your children. I
that was
want to
good.
give a shout out to my mom. Even though my parents did not stay together, my mom, I always thought my dad was number one. He was the man, and he could do no wrong, because she was always, whatever they had going on, I didn't know. I never knew. And it wasn't until I was actually an adult woman navigating life that she then would share with me, woman to woman, some things. And I would say, what? My daddy did what? That's what I learned. But as a child, she never did that. And in my eyes, my dad set the moon and the stars. So as you said, modeling, that's what I thought about.
A proper woman?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Oh, she was that. Okay.
So we've got to remember that.
Yeah.
And that has impacted me throughout my life, that we have to model. So thank you for saying that.
And
Thank you for
I
saying
agree
that.
with you on that as well, with my mom too. Yeah. I agree.
To model. And I think all of these things that we talked about takes a lot of maturity, which is, again, where time comes in. Time will mature you. But that modeling, a lot of people do not do. I had assumptions, or people have assumptions in the beginning because that is what they saw, right? But when you model, well, then if that's all I know, then that's how I'm going to be, right? And I think that is also a call to action, to just make sure that if you have dominion over little ones in your family, in your household, that you show them how they should be in the situation, so that they don't have to go through the hills and the valleys, you know.
And it may be wise for them to have counseling too.
Oh, it is wise.
So that my other call to action, so that they know how to navigate their feelings through the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
give yourself permission to have counseling. there is, and if you're financially unable to have counseling in most cities, you are able to have free counseling. Just reach out and you will find that. And they're really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're really good.
And if you work for a large employer, they have an EAP program,
Yes.
Employee Assistance Program,
Yeah.
that they offer private. Your employer will not know, but there's some opportunities there too.
And
Yeah.
some churches even offer free counseling for the members of the church and the community. So there are resources available.
There are resources. I'm sorry.
We gave a lot of call to
Yeah,
action.
I have look,
15,000, 20,000. Okay,
I have
that
one,
would be one.
and I have one more before we sign off. These are so good. You probably are listening like, yeah, I need to do that. Yeah. And you're all motivated. It's beautiful to be motivated, but action is what's needed. And so be motivated. Be motivated to get your calendar and write the day and the time. Don't say, yeah, I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to do that next month. No, write down the day and the time that you're going to do it, and then do it, so that you can have a praise-a-mony. I did it, and I'm moving through this thing, and you're journeying through that thing. That is the last call to action on today. I hope to see you on next time. I think we're going to be talking about, well, we're still got, now, this season is relationships. But we are, I believe, going to be doing caring for aging parents and family members. So make sure that you tune in to this next episode. Make sure you share again, subscribe, download, like, all that right there. We are YouTube. We are on all the major platforms, Spotify, Apple, you name it.
YouTube.
And YouTube, yes.
Definitely.
So make sure that you are seeing about us. Support us now. All right. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.